So it was a really exciting time because, you know, when you have that kind of chaotic thing going on in your life, and you toss everything up in the air, it's going to come down in a different place. So we did. We decided we were going to toss our life up in the air. I had a very successful entertainment business. I was a church music director. I was making money hand over fist. It was a wonderful, wonderful outpicturing of my musical life. But I knew that there was something that wasn't happening. I knew that there was something that I was missing. And I knew that I had to make a change. And so we decided we were just going to walk in the middle of the country. And so before we came out here, before we made that decision, we talked about it. And I said to my wife, and just to prove she's just a little bit more crazy than I am, I said, honey, would you like me to take you on a cruise for your 40th birthday or take you to Kansas City? And she goes, I want to go to Kansas City. Oh, okay. So we hopped on a plane and we came out here, and at that point, I was acquaintances with our beloved friend Richard McNeese. We had talked on the phone, we had emailed, we had shared some time together, but we never officially met. So while I was out here, I decided that I would just, take advantage of the fact that Unity just happened to be in Kansas City, and so did the Association of Unity Churches. So I thought it would be really fun to just go visit them and sort of see where our headquarters was and what it was all about. So I went to see Richard, and I said, Richard, we're considering to move out here. And, what can you tell me about this area? And he says, well, Chris, there's a bunch of churches around here. We've got this church over here in Overland Park, and it's quite a nice church. We've got the Unity up along the plaza. We have Christchurch Unity up north. We've got Unity Southeast, and he says we even have a church right here on the Unity campus. And he goes, and there's a little church that meets over in Independence. Now, he didn't mean anything by a little church. He wasn't belittling Independence. He says, there's about 30 people that gather on Sunday to get together over there. And immediately, I felt a connection to this church. To where when my wife and I eventually made the move 4 months later, I didn't even consider going to any of the other ones. This was the church that called me. And when I walked in, the first thing Carla did was she tilted her head to the side and she did this. You see Carla, right? This is Carla. And I remember feeling like church was about love. That this church was about love. This church was here to sort of erase from my mind the regimented performance that you have to manufacture on a Sunday. This church, and I want to make it clear that I in no way want to disrespect the Unity of Naples Church. These were all self-imposed beliefs that I had to do this. It's a wonderful church and it's a very thriving community. But these were things that were speaking to me, and when I came here, I just felt like there was love here in this room. So we became members and we attended regularly. And then shortly thereafter, Lori Boyd at the time was a music director, and she had to fulfill a prerequisite of serving the church in a board fashion. So she had to step down as a music director, and she had to take on the role of being on the board. And so they needed a music director. And I said, I'd be delighted. And I had a wonderful, wonderful co-creative experience with Carla McClellan. Just tremendous. One of the most just loving and fulfilling experiences that I've had yet to this day in Unity was co-creating services with Carla. I would love it. She would call me up. She says, Chris, I'm talking about this. Is there a song? And so many times I would find it in me to write a song that would sort of match the title or match the talk. Most of the songs on my Peace Expressing CD were seeds from this church, were seeds from her talk. And those songs are now published throughout Unity. One of the special memories I have of working with Carla was Jazz and I, Carla, we got together one day and we were doing a visioning session for this church where we were holding each other's dreams. And one of the dreams that I had that I had never verbalized was I wanted to create a Unity World Orchestra. Now the idea of this orchestra is that eventually this orchestra will manifest that there will be a person represented from every country in the world coming together to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. This is my vision. And as a church community, they took this vision into prayer. And it wasn't but maybe a year after that the Unity World Orchestra's first convening was at the Sound Connections Music Conference. It was a small incarnation of this orchestra, but it had become a reality. The following year it convened again, and it was even bigger with an attached chorus. So to disagree with my dear and lovely friend Richard, this is no small church. I also remember right when I first moved here, Carla had suffered some very tremendous personal losses. She had lost her mother. She had lost her daughter. In this church, she didn't know she could continue. She didn't think that she could actually muster enough strength to get through this personal challenge. She was so overwrought with sadness. And those of you who were there, you remember just how sometimes Carla could not even get out of bed some days. She was so devastated by the loss of her daughter. But this church allowed her that space. It allowed her that love to get through those challenges. I remember one Mother's Day, we were planning a service, and I called her up and she says, "Chris, I can't do it." She was weeping. "I just can't be there. I'm so sorry. I can't be there. I just can't do it. I'm so sorry. I can't do it." But this church allowed her that space. They had compassion. They had understanding for this tremendous loss that she was going through. And in turn, Carla continued to serve this church for the next 5 years and is now in a position at Unity to where she's going to be facilitating retreats, touching thousands of lives a year. I often wonder if this church didn't have the compassion or the grace or the understanding, and she would have left the ministry, thousands of people would not be exposed to the loving essence of who Carla McClellan, who she is. This church is no small church. The bricks that you received when you walked in, if anybody doesn't have a brick, I'd like you to take a brick, or make sure, hold up your hand if you don't have a brick.